right, so we're gonna do your excessive barking video. Excessive barking stems from your dog alerting, being super excited, just trying to get your attention, or even sometimes out of fear. We're gonna go over a couple ways to stop the barking. The first thing you need to do is have a quiet, a no, or enough command. You wanna pair when you say quiet, no, or enough when your dog is barking with something negative. This is typically a consequence, either a training collar, we have squirt bottles, you have bark collars, and you have a little handy dandy sonic sound thing that they make at pet stores. It's a button you push anytime your dog barks and it will decrease the barking. So you'll say no and then push the button. They have something that's a little bit more automatic, and this is a bark collar. The bark collar will go on your dog's neck. It feels when the dog, it feels the vibrate, and it will send a stem. It'll start with a tone, go to a vibrate, and then do a stem. That's another way to do it. This is really good if you're gonna be out of the house and your dog barks a lot when you're gone. Another way to do it, like if it's when you're home, is do a squirt bottle. So anytime your dog barks, you can say no, enough, or quiet. Add a correction, which is a squirt, and then toss a handful of treats when they're quiet. Tossing a handful of treats on the ground allows the dog to search and find, which naturally helps them calm down and releases endorphins. So those are a couple ways to stop the excessive barking. Again, the bark collars for when you're not around, the sonic push button, you can get them at pet stores, squirt bottle. You just want to pair quiet enough or something with a consequence, and then reward when your dog is quiet. So this is Indiana. He may or may not bark. If he doesn't, I'll just pretend he barked at me, and then we'll kind of go through the steps on what I would do if my dog is excessively barking. My method is going to be the squirt bottle today. The squirt bottle is the easiest. The biggest thing you want to remember with the squirt bottle, you don't want to use it like a gun. You're going to be kind of sneaky about it. So the dog is barking, you're going to say quiet enough, squirt, and when they're quiet, you're going to toss a handful of treats on the ground, all right? And it's a handful. When they're searching and sniffing out food, it's actually going to help them calm themselves as it releases endorphins in the brain. I'm not going to do this because then your dog just listens when you have a squirt bottle in your hand. So say Indiana was barking excessively, bark, 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 I would say quiet or enough, squirt, and as soon as he's quiet, I would toss treats on the ground. So it's going to look something like this. Quiet. So what I did was say quiet, squirt, and then I'm going to toss food on the ground for him to search and find. When he's searching for food, it actually helps the dog calm themselves. It releases endorphins and helps relax them. But remember to say quiet or enough first and then add the correction. And then reward when the dog is quiet. So again, bark, bark, bark. I'm going to say quiet or enough, squirt, and then toss treats on the ground. Again, you could use this with a training collar. My choice is typically a squirt bottle. You can use the e-collar, the sonic egg button thing, really anything. The main thing you want to remember is say quiet or enough, one of the two, and add a punishment behind it. And then when the dog is quiet, actually reward when they're quiet so they understand like this is what gets a reward and which one doesn't.